So we got to find a way here in this last week to manufacture some more points. So that's where we're at.
Were there things they did differently in the second half defensively that you could point out as what gave you trouble?
No, listen, we didn't execute. We dropped some passes. We missed on a couple. Pass protection wise, I felt like Spencer never really got settled in there, and he was moving around, and he made some plays moving around, to his credit. But like I said, we had some drops. We had some penalties offensively that kind of stalled. If I'm not mistaken, we were over the 40-plus-40-yard line twice and had penalties that pushed us back into a punt situation. And, you're in a game like this, you got to come away with some points there when you're down there. And so I don't think there was a schematic thing that they did as much as it was an execution thing by us.
This could have been Cam's last home game, maybe. What did you notice from him today? And just did he seem any different to you, like soaking it all in?
No, the one thing about Cam for the 6 years I've been here with Cam, the best thing I could say about Cam, he's the same guy every day. He's got a phenomenal attitude, phenomenal approach. He is as professional as they come. And again, you walk in our locker room every day and you would know what our record is by his approach and his attitude and his leadership. I hope he keeps playing, and I hope this isn't his last game at home. But I haven't seen anything different out of that guy. That guy's, again, best thing I can say about him is exactly what you're getting every day, and the consistency thing is why he's been so good at what he's doing.
How did you feel like Spencer played today overall?
I feel like it's a little bit hard to evaluate, to be honest with you. Before I watched the film, just watching with my eyes from the sideline, I didn't feel like we gave him a chance a lot of times. Some of those third downs, he did miss a couple of throws. Obviously, the throw that he has to, I think it was Cedric there, that got tipped up in the air, that gets picked off, and then the pass at the end. I know we had the OPI called on us. We were going to we were going to be in scoring range again there inside the 5-yard line, and we had the penalty. So it's going to be a tough evaluation. I think we're going to have to take a step back and look at it through a different lens, because I feel like there was a lot of times where he wasn't getting any help.
I know you may not have the answer right now, but what do you think is kind of needed for this defense to get back on track?
Really, consistency. There's been, we've had the peaks and valleys in the last 7 weeks. You saw some signs there from the front, 8 sacks in the Washington game. We thought we kind of remedied our run defense a little bit because that had been poor in the first half of the year. But then again today, if you had told me coming in, these guys are going to rush the ball for 158, that's not good. That's not a good formula for us. We thought that was going to be a strong point for us today, and it wasn't. I felt like everything they did, everything was falling forward 6, 7, 8 yards. So I would just say that the number one thing is just consistency. Again, they had, first of all, they had 18 third downs, and they converted on 10 of them. And so the fact that they had we got them into 18 third down situations, if we're going to get off the field there and give the offense another chance and get the punt return team back out there, all those things, we just couldn't find a rhythm there on third down. To their credit, they converted, and we couldn't get them off the field. And I think that was really the number one stat when you look at the game, was the third down conversions, because those are like turnovers. And then again, we were 0 for 8. So I think you really don't have to look very much past that one statistic, really the stat of the day, in my opinion.
Darren, the time of possessions, 3 games in a row, you all kind of lost that. Is that just complimentary football not being complimentary enough for both sides?
Yeah, too many drives with 3, 4, 5 plays. Not enough sustain. Our third down had picked up there a little bit in about a month ago. We started to trend in the right direction, and I feel like these last few weeks we're kind of going backwards a little bit. Naturally, today is a great example, but that's really the time of possession really gets back to your third and manageables and then converting on those. And we just haven't done that. And so, like I said, I don't think that's, naturally the quarterback's going to get the majority of the blame on that. I just don't think it's all on him.
Are you aware of their travel issues with the Raiders, and did you talk to anybody about getting in late?
Yeah, I know a couple of coaches on their team. So I knew they got in late last night. So I think it sounded like they just went to bed and woke up, played. So.
On the defensive side of the ball, you're sensing frustration. It's 2 games in a row, these long drives. I think it was a 17-play drive again today. It's just not being able to get off the field. How has that been affecting that group?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. It's frustrating for everybody. I mean, we get into third, medium, third, long, and all of a sudden the offense is up and the punt return team is up, and all of a sudden, boom, they convert. And so it's it's certainly deflating at times for sure when they're converting third downs. And it was the same story last week. We got into some third and mediums and longs, and then we had some penalties and things like that turned those into third and shorts. It happened again today. And so there's no doubt about it. It's definitely frustrating. And listen, they if I'm not mistaken, they were out there for 70 something plays and we were out there for 40 something plays. But that's a result of that. That's a result of not being able to convert, not being able to get off the field. So that's why I said in the beginning of this presser, I thought the pretty simple answer today. Not a really. You have to do a deep dive on today's game.
Does the loss today change anything about how you guys maybe approach Derek, Alvin, Chris?
I really haven't. I'm still kind of soaking this one in. I haven't given a ton of thought to that. I can tell you all three of those guys in my conversation with them last week still had aspirations of playing. So,
How would you describe where you are? You just used the word deflating on the defense. Do you feel a little of that right now?
well, it's just only no one likes to be this result. The result is not what we're looking for. So anytime it's hard to be anything but when you don't have the result that you're coming in. I thought again we had a great practice week. We just haven't been. Our execution hasn't been good enough. So yeah, listen, it's frustrating and it's hard for me to see the players. That's the most frustrating thing for me. Those guys are obviously the ones that I care about the most, and so that's the most frustrating part. But yeah, listen, we got one left, and we got to find a way to respond and rebound.
Kind of following up on that.
Yeah.
This has kind of been an audition for you as well. Do you worry about the way that these last few games have gone?
I really don't look at it like that. I know maybe from an outside perspective, you guys look at it like that, and you're right. But I can't concern myself with that right now. We'll coach this last week, take a step back, and then we'll evaluate the whole thing. And the powers to be will evaluate the whole thing. We'll go from there. I'm not, I can't be overly concerned with that. I'm concerned about the guys in the locker room. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm pissed off and upset for them.
Thank you for
appreciate it, guys.
listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
What's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And this one of them episodes where I wish we didn't have to talk about the New Orleans Saints, because quite frankly, there's nothing to talk about. I mean, if you want to talk about a team that just absolutely got roasted and toasted by an inept Las Vegas Raider football team, then this is the podcast for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. This is the podcast for you, where the New Orleans Saints finally have to come to grips and understand who the hell they are as a football team. And that is a very bad football team. They lose at home to the Las Vegas Raiders by a score of 25-10. The New Orleans Saints defense looked absolutely horrible today. The Saints offense looked absolutely horrible today. The Saints as a staff, organization, and crew looked absolutely horrible today. And yet again, for 2 games, Saints fans have been subjected to this nauseating performance that is known as Saints football. You know, Who Dat Nation? I thought watching this game, I thought maybe the New Orleans Saints would show us a little bit of something, maybe a little glimmer of what 2025 could possibly be with a few guys. But what we saw today was a team that has absolutely no answers. This is a team that don't know what in the world they're doing. This is a team that basically just has a bunch of people out here scrambling around trying to figure out what they can do to stop the bleeding. This game was the most pathetic Saints game I've seen, I gotta say, since probably around the 90s. This was a team that didn't know exactly what the heck was going on. They're an undisciplined football team. Every time something positive happens, it gets negated by ridiculous penalties, false starts, illegal formations, illegal shifts, etc., etc. Can't run the football. Guys can't catch the football because most of the guys that you see, practice squad guys that don't belong in the National Football League in some cases, probably would be so deep on the depth chart that you would probably need Perry Mason or Inspector Gadget to find them. Sherlock Holmes or somebody like that. But the Saints are using these guys as if they are number one, number two wide receivers, top-notch offensive line players. But this is what happens when you have a guy and a general manager like Mickey Loomis who just needs to step aside and let some new blood reign supreme. But instead, he wants to sit up here and make a complete mockery out of the football team and wants to get mad at fans and wants to get mad at journalists and wants to get mad at everybody else other than himself because he is the one that put the New Orleans Saints in a position that they are in. Mickey Loomis did this, but instead he wants to gaslight us and make us feel like we're a player away, a coach away, a popcorn seller away, a candy corn guy away from being a championship contender. Well, Mickey Loomis is out of his damn mind if he feels like he looks at this football team and feels like he is anywhere near prosperity in New Orleans. He couldn't get the prosperity if he was on Poydras Street and he made a left on Rampart. Come on, man. Give me a freaking break. You got to be kidding me. You wouldn't know prosperity if prosperity was at the Fox 8 building and you were sitting in a Superdome. And you couldn't get to it then. This is absolutely downright pathetic. These boys need to blow this thing up. I've had enough. I don't care who get mad. I don't care who gets offended. Trash was on the field. Garbage was on the field. I have no problem looking at garbage. If garbage is eventually going to turn into a clean house. But if I'm stepping over trash, I'm stepping over stuff. No, that ain't trash. That's my new fresh t-shirt. No, it smells like trash. No, trash. You're trying to tell me that the odor, the stench that is coming out of the Superdome each and every week that's coming off airline each and every week is not trash, but I can smell it. And it's like 100 degrees outside. Fans have had enough. This organization has got to stop running this organization like it's your state-of-the-art mom and pop shop in a small rural area that everybody goes to and everybody knows everybody. That is the problem with the New Orleans Saints. Everybody wants to be family. Oh, he's such a great guy. Oh, he is such a great player. Oh, he gave me a handshake. We got this special little handshake that we do together. All this nonsense that don't equate to winning. But I want to keep this guy around because he bought me the ugliest sweater 8 Christmases ago. Get these dudes up out of here and do what organizations do all the time. They make changes. They make tough decisions, but they're called business decisions. They do what is best for business. Ladies and gentlemen, That is what good organizations do. They don't look beyond the results. They look at what's in front of them right there. They don't look beyond the results, because if they don't look beyond the results, everybody will see how garbage they are at their job, Mickey Loomis. So stop gaslighting people and do something about it. Stop trying to tell us that Derek Carr can be something when he is not. Stop trying to tell us that this offensive line group that you have put together will actually be something if they were together, and more than likely they won't. Stop trying to tell me that these draft picks that you guys have had is the reason why they're not good is because they had a little bit of bad luck. No, they are what they are because you guys suck at drafting. And if you're not bad at drafting, then you definitely suck at player placement. Stop trying to make guys what they are not. Draft guys who do what you need them to do. If he is a left tackle, don't make him a center. If he's a center, don't make him a left tackle. If he's a weak side linebacker, don't try to make him a free safety or a cornerback number one. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Believe what they are telling you. You got a bunch of makeshift, build-a-bear ass players, and you expect for these dudes to go out here, perform, and be all pro at their job, and you're asking them to do something they have never done in high school, in college. Their entire football life, they have played one position. And I feel like we're being unfair to them that we're expecting them to be all pro at something they've never done. It's sad. But something is wrong with TJ. Something is wrong with Tama. Something wrong with Yeller. Something wrong with Prez, Dalton. When we up here questioning the team and we can see things that are actually going on right in front of our face, and you get mad at us and want to poke your lip out and look all sassy in the face and criticize the journalists that's only doing their freaking job, you're giving them the material. If you don't want them to talk about what you're giving them, change the damn material. Change it. Change it up. You won't go on WWL and have all them fluffy questions because that's an organization ran business, and most of the people that you're talking to, they're not going to hold you accountable. You probably already know what they're going to ask you in the first place. But to softball questions, and I'm not mad at anybody because I understand the game. I understand how this thing works. But guess what? You can try to lie to the fans, but this is a smart fan base. I guarantee you right now, my grandmother can sit up here and talk football with the best of them. You would think that my grandmother is a GM or was a GM or was a coach at one time. These people aren't dumb. They're not naive. You can't try to fake the funk. We can see it. And we're tired of looking at it. So Gail Benson, I don't know if you'll ever see this, and I'm pretty sure you won't, but I'm telling you right now, you are going to lose the trust of the fan base if you continue to practice things the way that they are. If you see that the Sean Payton way is no more, but instead you're trying to recycle this joint again, you're going to lose the respect and the trust of the fan base. You listen to the fan base when you got rid of that poor, pathetic excuse for a head coach in Dennis Allen, and that was a start. And you need to listen to the fan base and get rid of this arrogant, pompous son of a gun named Mickey Loomis as a general manager. Get a young, vibrant, fresh general manager up in here with fresh ideas that can turn this thing around. Stop allowing these guys that have been here forever fumbling all over themselves, basically not getting exposed because Drew Brees and Sean Payton was a part of this organization. The emperor has no clothes on. Everybody can see his naked behind walking down the street. We see that dude don't know what the heck he doing. He fumbled the bag with the draft. He fumbled the bag with the salary cap. Depth chart is in shambles. You had very little room for error whatsoever going into this season, and we all knew it. Go back and look at the episodes of the past. How many times have I said, what happens if something happened to Chris Olave and Shaheed or one of these other guys? You are a player away. You are, a player away from being garbage. And guess what you are? Garbage. Garbage. So enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I can live with being bad. I want people to understand this. I can live with being bad. I can, if I know that being bad is going to lead to something positive, I can get down with that because mama said there'll be days like this. I already know this. I already know that in order for things to get beautiful, it got to get ugly. But don't sit up here when we criticize the team and your decision making, make it seem like it's on us. No. I won't accept that. Who that nation not going to accept that? You're out your mind. We're not accepting that. We're not just going to allow you to just sit up here and gaslight us when we know football, when we know what is right in front of us. We see what's going on. And it's bad. And it's embarrassing. And I feel very, very offended when somebody questions my intelligence. If it walks like a duck, sounds like a duck, flaps in the air, and flies like a duck. Once again, it's not a Kodiak bear, it's a freaking duck. And right now, it's duck, and I don't see no damn goose. Let me go ahead and read some of these comments, man. Prayers, thank you very much for the $5. Says Mickey, put all injured on IR, bench rest of starters, use the open spot for more free agents, practice squad, rookie, undrafted free agents, make Bucks game scrimmage. Number one, let me just say this. If you think about Alvin Kamara coming back, why? Derek Carr, why? Matter of fact, like, why are we even talking about Derek Carr even coming back in 2025? Eat the cap. This is what I'm talking about here. This is what I'm talking about. Oh, we need to keep Derek Carr. We don't want people to understand and feel like we made a mistake with Derek Carr. Derek Carr is what he is. He is what he is. I ain't trying to hear none of these Carr supporters, Wi-Fi Willie, all the rest of these dudes up here that's probably going to make a video talking about how Spencer Rattler look and they need Derek Carr. The Saints don't need Derek Carr. Bye-bye. I'd rather suck, be bad, terrible for another year than allow Derek Carr to dink and dunk his way, you know what I'm saying, into some credible stats for we to have this sorry, pathetic argument that people be trying to have about Derek Carr. Derek Carr has been in the league for 11 seasons. He's an average quarterback, 15, 20 ranked quarterback at best. You're not winning a Super Bowl with him. You're not winning a Super Bowl because of him. If you win a Super Bowl with him, it means that you have a bomb-ass defense and a Saquon Barkley-ass running back in the offensive line. Excuse me, I'm just upset right now, so I apologize for the language issues. But all I'm saying is the reality is this. Stop trying to lie to us. Derek Carr ain't it. Eat the freaking cap. Eat the freaking cap. You may not like this, but run it back with Rattler or get yourself a Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor type quarterback that will be a bridge guy That way, like if you suck, you suck. You do all right, you do all right. You're probably picking the same way, and you can finally get your quarterback of the freaking future. That is what you need to do. Stop trying to make Derek Carr work because nobody wants to see that. Ain't nobody checking for that. Don't nobody believe in that. Except if your last name is Carr or Carr Stan. Sean, thank you very much for the $10. Says, honestly, I know this loss was coming, and hopefully it turns into a good thing in the offseason. I love to see ML gone and cut everyone from him on down to the ball boy. I guess you're talking about Mickey Loomis there, but look, man, get these bums up out of my face. Stop trying to lie to me. God bless these brothers, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Honey Badger, great warriors, great players, beasts on the field, but it's time. It's time, man. Allow these dudes to go out here to capture some Super Bowl glory. You know what I'm saying? Make they Hall of Fame resume a little bit more compelling. Allow these dudes to go and get yourself some young, fresh linebackers that can fly all over the field and make plays. That is what you need right now. That is what you need right now. You need to make this team young. I'm looking at the game right now as I speak, the Green Bay Packers, the youngest team in the league. There's only two players on the Green Bay Packers team that are 30. Two. A bunch of young players doing it the right way. Organization doing it the right way. Rams doing it the right way. Packers doing it the right way. Steelers doing it the right way. You watch these organizations, and yet you feel like you're on that level? Hell no. No, you're not. Once again, the emperor has been exposed. We see that he has no clothes. We see what it is. You can't say, oh, we're on that level. No, you're not. You mask the funk. You were the musk. And Sean Payton and Drew Brees was the cologne. Cologne on a musted body. I keep telling y'all this. These boys making it seem like it was them. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. That's what they don't understand. You are Otis in this thing. You ain't David Ruffin. You ain't Eddie Hendricks. You ain't Paul Williams. You ain't Dennis Edwards. You playing the background. You ain't even Melvin Franklin. Even Melvin Franklin had these outside children in another way. Even he had something going. You are Otis. And ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. My girl, that was a #1 hit you was on. But David Ruffin set the song off. The way you do the things you do. You was in the song, but Eddie Hendricks led the song. Cloud 9. Dennis Edwards. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Where was Melvin at? Silent Night. Where was Melvin? Man, come on, man. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Mickey. Enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. That's a fact, Jack. Take it on the chin with Derek Cap. Bring back Jameis on a bridge deal to help develop Rattler and rebuild the team. At least we'll have a better chance at winning while getting who we need. It can be Jameis. It can be Jacoby Brissett. It can be Tyrod Taylor. Look, it could be Teddy Bridgewater. All I care. All I know is Derek Carr ain't it. Derek Carr ain't it. If you want to maybe, I don't know, maybe later in the draft, second round, want to maybe take a flyer or something like that on a Carson Beck or one of these other dudes, okay, whatever. But all I'm saying is, this ain't it. This ain't it, bro. If you don't like what TJ is saying, leave video now. At this point, I don't care if somebody got a problem with it. You can't deny this. You can't deny it. You cannot deny this. You can't. How could you? You got to be as delusional as this front office is if you're denying this. I don't care if you don't want to hear it. You need to hear it. You need to hear that your team sucks. You need to hear that your team is one of the worst football teams in the league. You need to hear it. It hurt. It stings. Nobody wants to believe. Nobody wants to believe that their girl or their guy ain't a 10. Nobody want to believe that. Everybody want to believe they dating a dime. But it ain't a dime. It's a nickel. It's a pity. It's terrible. It's awful. It's bad football. Stop lying to yourself. Stop allowing this organization to gaslight you. Stop trying to take up for these boys when they ain't taking up for you. They making you look bad. Man, I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know what you saying. Man, it was who that in 88, who that in 98, who that in 2008, and 2018. And I'm going to say it to 2028. I don't care. Who cares? That still don't defeat the fact that they suck and some changes need to be made. Your loyalty don't mean jack if they suck. I'm standing on business. What the hell is you standing on? What is that business made out of? A house of cards? Your ass is on the ground. You fail. Oops, I failed on this house of cards. Standing on business. You stand on business when you can call people out for what they're doing. And it's obvious. That's standing on business. But all this nonsense, man, back in 1978, I seen them boys look bad. 88, like who cares? They stink. They stink. They're not good. And Mickey Loomis is the main reason why. And his arrogance will continue to be the downfall of the team. Because he has no buffer. He has no middleman. This is a guy out here that is pulling the trigger and not asking the questions. This man ain't trying to get to the bottom of it. He did it. I saw it. No, you didn't. Well, you look guilty. Pow, pow, pow. This man is pulling the trigger without rhyme or reason. And it's looking really, really bad right now. It's looking really bad. And you ought, and I'm going to say, you ought to be embarrassed if you're defending this. Yes, I just said that. You ought to be embarrassed if you're sitting up here going to war for this. You ought to be ashamed. You ought to be ashamed if you're sitting up here going to war, wasting the precious syllables and the verbiage of the English language trying to defend this nonsense. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ever seen that movie with Eddie Murphy, 1,000 Words, right? That's what it needs to be to you. Every word that you say about the Saints needs to be that leaf falling from the tree. And you should lose your ability to speak if you're defending this nonsense. Not me. Not me. I don't like the TJ putting cologne on a musty body. We need to have a fresh start. The whole coaching staff needs to go. Mickey Mouse Loomis to go as well. Need a fresh start. Need a fresh start. Might make some people mad, but I do not care. Don't want Aaron Glenn coaching the Saints. Too much like your ex-girlfriend. Too trying to dibble and dabble in your old ways. And plus, on top of that, let me make this. Let me say this. Let me make this disclaimer here. I have no problem. I feel like Aaron Glenn will be a good coach. What the Saints need right now, I feel like it would be unfair to Aaron Glenn to hire him. And I don't think that it will give him a fair shake if he was to be hired. Because the fan base, God bless him. And I said this on a prediction show. I said this on a pre-show. Some of you only go by what you see. You're not going to have the patience. And you're not going to look at the cap. And you're not going to look at some of the things that the Saints have to go through in order for them to get better. All y'all gonna be talking about is fire him, fire him, fire him, fire him, fire him, fire him, and not look at what the heck is going on. Totally unfair to Aaron Glenn. Allow him to go to the Jaguars or one of these other teams out here that got a decent cap that he can actually build with and shape and mold the team in his image. Plain and simple. Honestly, I wouldn't even be mad if in the draft we get a wide receiver and the rest is on the trenches on offense and defense. Can't win nothing when you're getting moved like empty box. That's absolutely right, man. That was a good analogy right there, man. You're absolutely right. They definitely need a wide receiver. They definitely need McMillan out of Arizona. They definitely need a dog wide receiver. They definitely need an alpha male wide receiver. And offensive line, they need that interior. If they was to get Mason Graham out of Michigan, wouldn't be mad at that. If they was to get Will Campbell out of LSU, I wouldn't be mad at that. If they was to get McMillan out of Arizona, definitely wouldn't be mad at that. Matter of fact, I don't think I would be mad at anything. Like, even if they was to draft, I don't know, if even they was to draft another running back, like if they was to get Genty, like I wouldn't even be mad at that. They need everything. Like, these boys need everything. They need everything, bro. Like, it ain't even funny. Whatever direction they go in, I feel like we should be okay with it. As long as they ain't out here talking about kick up punt in the third round. I don't know, TJ. We were told to look beyond the results. Well, I'm definitely ain't looking beyond the results. I never look beyond the results. The results are right there, and they've been here, and we need to adjust accordingly. This is pathetic. This is pathetic. I don't care, man. I don't care how people feel. Sometimes you gotta hear the truth, and the truth hurts sometimes. It's a tough pill to swallow. But I look, once again, I can deal with being bad, but when you bring it on yourself and then you be lying and you're trying to gaslight fans, and I understand how business works. Like, you never want people to see you sweat, but at the same time, don't make it seem like it's about us and we ain't got no patience and we don't know what we looking at and we don't know the ins and outs. Guess what? You probably right. Look, I don't know everything there is to know about running a football team. I will concede, but I damn sure know what bad football looks like, and I've been watching it all season long from the New Orleans Saints. Plain and simple. Bad decision hiring Dennis Allen. You hired Dennis Allen. It wasn't your idea just alone. Miss me with that. Sean Payton encouraged you to hire him. Think about this. This fool broke up with you, left you, and said, guess what? I got the perfect person that you can spend the rest of your life with right here. He ain't me, but I got somebody for you. How in the world are you dating somebody, they break up with you, and you let them hook you up with the next person? Bad decision with Dennis Allen. Dude can't coach his way out of a wet paper bag. Soft as a baby's behind. No respect. Don't know what he was doing. Had players out there not even really warming up, getting these dudes injured left and right. And you think you're going to win something with that? Sleptwalk through the interview process. Want. I can be a good coordinator. Want quarterback development. Want. Thank you very much. All right, Dennis. I'm sorry, Doug. Excuse me, Mr. Allen. Mr. Bieniemy. Don't care about who was in the room. Don't care. Already had your mind made up on a loser. Ready to run out the door to hire a loser as a head coach. Not as a man, but as a head coach. Oh, we about to do something with this loser. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Right. You ain't doing jack, but except wasted everybody's time. And from the sounds of it, it seems like you're going to be wasting our time again. Because according to John Hendricks, shouts out to John Hendricks, great work as a Saints reporter, saying that Mickey Loomis already knows who he wants. And we all know we all know that the Saints don't want to break away from tradition. So it's gonna have to be probably somebody that probably, I don't know, shook hands with Sean Payton, maybe, held the clipboard for Sean Payton. Pete Carmichael wasn't around, so let me pass him some juicy fruit. Man, I don't know, maybe it's somebody like that. He already know. As long as somebody that, make them feel comfortable. But I'm a firm believer, sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. Darren Rizzo was right about that. Sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to be comfortable. But too many people got lazy boys, way too comfortable on airline drive. Way too comfortable for my liking. Wouldn't surprise me at all. We did do something, TJ. We set records. Few of those passes that could have been caught could have been have resulted in more points. Yeah, man. Look, Spencer Rattler, he is what he is at this point, folks. Just like Derek Carr, he's a young, inexperienced guy that needs help. And when you put him out there and he has absolutely no help, and guys are dropping passes on top of that, then guess what? Guess what, folks? You're going to end up having that result. Dude is not ready. And I mentioned this on Bleacher Report. The Saints did it to themselves. They did it to themselves. Do you hear me? They did it to themselves. They did it to appease a losing quarterback's ego. Not a loser in life, a loser as a quarterback. Look at his overall record. They wanted to stroke his ego, so they made sure that the quarterback room was about as quarterback friendly as possible to make sure that nobody could possibly threaten him, where he can actually run the quarterback room and run the offense without having to look over his shoulder and wonder who's going to take his job. They knew Rattler wasn't good enough. They knew Hayner wasn't good enough. They didn't want another situation. They didn't want a Jacoby Brissett. Why? Because Jacoby Brissett probably can win some football games for you. They didn't want a Tyrod Taylor. Why? Because Tyrod Taylor probably can win some football games from you. So they made it as quarterback friendly, as car friendly as possible. And in the process, not looking at the fact that since 2019, you have missed games. Your starting quarterback has missed games. You rather look beyond that result to appease a mediocre quarterback. TJ, I let one of my sisters listen to your Sean Payton Juicy Fruit comment you made several shows past, and she was rolling on the ground laughing. Look, man, I'm just telling it like it is, man. I'm just telling it like it is. All I'm saying is these dudes ain't fitting the part. Joe Woods, I'm not, the reason why I'm not criticizing Joe Woods? Because Joe Woods wasn't supposed to be in this position. He was the Pete Carmichael of the defense. I use this example on Bleacher Report. If Dennis Allen was the one calling the plays, Dennis Allen was the guy who was making a meal. Joe Woods was the one, hey, can you pass me the onion powder? Can you pass me the garlic powder? Can you pass me the paprika? Can you pass me the slap your mama Cajun salt? That is what Joe Woods was. That is what he was. The pass me man. You ever had like a kid and they want to cook a meal in the kitchen with you? So you say, okay, pass me this, pass me that, pass me that. You're the one that's making it and preparing it. You're the one that's putting all of the seasoning and fixing it in there. You're the one that's stirring it up to make it taste like something. But the kid, they may feel like, oh man, I'm making a meal too. I'm making a meal with mom. I'm making a meal with dad. But you're the one that's putting the portions together. The right sprinkle of salt, the right sprinkle of paprika to make the meal kick. Joe Woods is not the meal guy. He's not the master chef in this thing. He wasn't ever designed to be the master chef. He's the guy that's you're going to be throwing ideas, bouncing them off the wall with, helping you prepare and come up with a game plan and neutralize the offense. That is what he was. And he got thrust into this, and he's not ready for it. And he's not good at it. And it's okay. Some guys just need to be a part of a defensive staff. Some guys just need, like, they probably have really good ideas, but to carry it out consistently, they're not that good at it. P. Carmichael, for example. P. Carmichael is a good offensive mind. I would not deny that. But he's just not good at calling plays game in, game out. And that's okay too. You need behind the scenes guys that can help things go. Unless your name is Drew Brees, then you don't deserve to be comfortable in any role on the team. Everyone is expendable. Do your job or go home. I agree. I agree, though, that I don't want no coach that handled juicy fruit for Peyton either. So no Aaron Glenn. Sorry. Look, somebody got mad at me and upset at me because I mentioned, Aaron Glenn not being a head coach. And, we went out there and we started talking about, you need to support black coaches and all that. Look, I support black coaches, but I also support the fact that ain't the right fit for him. I feel like I am supporting him by saying that he ain't the right fit for the Saints because I want him to succeed. And I'm not in a business of giving guys a job or giving guys opportunity for the simple fact of the color of their skin. I want to make this clear. I wouldn't want that for me. Don't give me a job because I'm black. Give me a job because I'm good. Now I understand all this other stuff that comes into play because you need opportunities, but at the same time, don't just put a guy in a position just because of that. Because it's not fair. You're setting Aaron Glenn up to fail. And if it doesn't pan out, then guess what? People are going to look at this stop, fair or unfair, that it didn't pan out. They're not going to look at the situation. I love the Mario, but I need him to wrap up and tackle, not a sermon. Them sermons was good when he was out there. Well, he did have 13 tackles in the game. But them sermons not as good when you out there missing tackles. Man, I seen something about getting Pete Carroll. I wouldn't care about that. I wouldn't mind that. Look, I already told y'all. I wouldn't care if it's an old recyclable coach because I feel like what the New Orleans Saints need, and I mentioned this, they need a coach that, to me, has some experience because things are going to have to get a little tight. And you need somebody that's going to be able to use what you have until you can be what you need to be. That is why if the Cowboys fire Mike McCarthy, I wouldn't be mad if the Saints hired. I wouldn't be mad if the Saints were to interview John Gruden. I wouldn't be mad if the Saints go after Pete Carroll. I would not be mad at that because you have coaches that have experience of going through those type of scenarios and being able to work with what you have until they get what they need to get. Plain and simple. Mickey Loomis wants a yes man for a head coach. Mickey Loomis is a beta and a strong coach, which is what we need. Will make Mickey Loomis not have control. Well, Mickey Loomis ain't got control now, and he has control. How's that working out for you? How's that working out for you? You want to be in control, but you don't have no control. You're out of control. You're out of control. So how's that working out for you? So you have no control anyway, even though you have control. And that's probably the problem, that he has too much control. And he don't know what the heck he's doing. He probably know what he's doing in a grand scheme of things, but when things get off the rails, you ain't got that person that makes you look better, when you make these mistakes. Saints might beat the Bucks with Carr as quarterback, maybe. If the Falcons lose tonight and the Saints go up here and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, boy, I tell you, you're going to have some Saints fans. They might cancel their season tickets. they might cancel their season tickets, man. I'm telling y'all, Jake Hayner needs to start the final game of the season. Let him start. Let him start. Let Jake Hayner start the last game of the season versus Tampa. That's what we need, right? Chantel, I doubt it. He can win without Taysom Hill. What's up, TJ? What's going on, Jay? I do want to take this moment to let everybody know that the show is brought to you by BetUS. You can sign up today, get up to 150% on your first deposit, up to 125% on your second and third deposit, up to $2,000. Use the promo code YouTube150. Look, man, I'm about to go up in here. My wife bought this new game. It's a new motion game for Paxton. Man, we up in there bowling. We up in there, you know what I'm saying, moving around the living room. That's what I'm about to go do. Okay. I'm about to go up here and spend the rest of my evening with my son. Have a good time on this little motion game. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's pretty fun. I was playing it before I did the pregame. That's what I'm about to go do. I ain't about to be wasting the rest of my evening on these boys. All right. I mean, we'll take calls tomorrow on the Final Thoughts episode. We'll be over there at the radio station tomorrow, talking about this. So, yeah, and make sure you check it out. Says, just enjoy Sunday with family and your loved ones. Yeah, you ain't lying. Don't beat on Saints, though. I can't believe the Saints lost to the Raiders. That's mind-boggling. Nah, I look, if they would have lost, but it's how they lost. It's how they lost. It's just the embarrassing thing to me. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at some of these stats. Talk a little bit about it. I don't even have to look at the stats. I can tell y'all. Look, the Raiders had the ball for over 30 minutes, 32 minutes to be exact. To the Saints, I want to say 22 minutes. The Raiders had 2 turnovers. The Saints had none. The Raiders had 3 sacks. The Saints had 1. Third down conversions. The Raiders were 10 of 18. I'm not reading this. I'm telling you, I'm not reading this. I just remember it from memory. The Saints were 1 and 10 on third down, and it came after the 2-minute mark, like with a little under 2 minutes left in the game. A pass for Spencer Rattler to Juwan Johnson, who I feel like the New Orleans Saints just need to cut ties with because I didn't seen enough. Okay, he's never going to be what you want him to be. He's never going to be what you want him to be. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But I will look at the stats when I mention some of these stats about with players. Spencer Rattler, 20 of 36, 218 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, sacked 3 times. Spencer Rattler did some good in the game, but once again did some bad in the game, bad decisions. When he gets rattled, no pun intended, he panics. He panics. He tries to make a play. It's almost like somebody that breaks a pipe, right? You're trying to fix a pipe, and all of a sudden, like you're screwing it, and then the pipe just bursts and water all over the floor. So you're trying to, catch it. You're trying to find a bucket. You're trying to find tape. That's what happened. That's what happens. And also, you can tell, like, football is a mental football. It's a mental game. It's a mental game. And you can tell, like, when things start to kind of unravel, when that interception was thrown, he went back into it, you can tell, like, he was just panicking. So, to me, there was some ups, there was some downs, there was some good, there was some bad. He definitely hasn't done enough, in my opinion, where you don't explore the option of maybe drafting another quarterback. I think Jake Hayner will be the odd man out. I think Rattler will come back into the season, as a member of the New Orleans Saints. But to me, man, Rattler needs help. Rattler needs a running game. Rattler needs offensive line. Rattler needs some guys when he throws the football to them, they're going to catch it. And Rattler also needs a good defense that's going to give him opportunities to be able to do some things. But Rattler also needs somebody to compete with him. I'm not going to sit up here and say Rattler sucks and he trash and throw him away, because that's what we want to do with young guys when they aren't what we want them to be right away. And if you're talking like that, like, go ahead, man, give these guys an opportunity to figure it out. We want Joe Montana right away. We want Tom Brady right away. We want Drew Brees right away. And then we'll look at a couple quarterbacks that are outliers that are playing really well, and we'll be like, well, he's doing this. No. That's the exception to the rule. So, yes, You know, there was some good, there was some bad. Clint Kubiak. I'm out. I'm off. I'm out on Kubiak. Do I think that he's a good offensive coordinator? He can be. But yet again, he can't make second half adjustments. He cannot adjust to what the defense does in the second half. He can't. You come up with a really good game plan that keeps you in the game, keeps you afloat. Rather, it's like you're within striking distance going into the second half, and then teams adjust to what you're actually doing. And then all of a sudden, guess what? Guess what? You go out there, get slapped around in the second half, and you can't do anything about it. These boys up here running a desperate trick play late in the game. It's sad. Like, you basically got to do some type of trickeration in order for you to put up any points. It's bad, man. Look, I am not objective to the Saints drafting another quarterback to try to push him. If they compete and he wins out, cool. But he hasn't done enough. Like, it's too much of a mixed bag. I do feel like the Saints didn't really help him. That's the reason why I feel like you shouldn't just throw him away. But at the same time, you got to be able to make some plays. You got to work on your accuracy. There were some of those passes that were thrown way too high. You should have put them on the numbers. You're exposing your wide receivers' lower extremities to get teed off on. That's what happened with Valdez-Scantling. If we're going to talk about hospital ball from Carr, we got to talk about them hospital ball from Rattler too. You got to protect your wide receivers. You got to protect them. But my final thoughts are this. First off, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Help the channel to grow. That's number one. Number two, this was awful. God awful. Burn the tape awful. And thank goodness, next week is the final week we have to subject ourselves to this nonsense. I'm over it. Change needs to take place in New Orleans, or people just need to take a stand. You got to do something better than this. You got to do something better than this, because this ain't working. And no matter how you want to plug it up and try to change it up and try to reinvent the wheel, you can't do it. And Saints fans can see that. So I'm just hoping that the New Orleans Saints organization can finally see it too. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Much love to everybody here. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You can check out previous episodes right here on this channel. Be sure to check out the NFC South Roundtable every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on NFC South Roundtable YouTube channel. Follow me on X at TJAYJones8. Also Blue Sky at TJAYJones8 as well. Till next time, all I got to say is, who that?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.